Levo, Kenevo. Levo, Kenevo. Which one do you choose? The new Kenevo has been out for about 5-6 weeks, just been updated. The new Levo has been out since last year. Class leading trail bike. I've been riding them both since the day that they were launched, and I've really enjoyed my time on both of them. But so many people have asked me, now I've ridden the Kenevo, would I swap it for my Levo? Which one do you choose? And a lot of you might be going through a purchase decision right now and you're trying to work out which one you should buy, which is the bike for you. It's really difficult. Now they've updated the new Kenevo, it shares the battery, the motor, even looks really, really similar to the Levo. So it makes it quite difficult. So I want to talk you through my experiences of riding the new Kenevo versus the 2019-2020 Levo, and maybe help you on your purchase decision on which one might be the right one for you. So let's start with the Levo. It's been around since last year, came out in, I think it was October 2019. Absolutely awesome bike, trail oriented, 150mm travel, all new internal battery, the Bros Magnesium S 2.1 motor, really minimalist design, and it looks really, really sweet. It's available in both aluminium and carbon. And now for 2020, the price looks more attractive. Actually, the comp version is £5,500. That now comes with the 700 watt-hour battery. And then you can get the Expert for 7,250. That's carbon, front triangle. It's got a better component set. But 700 watt-hour battery, I think, is the biggest upgrade that I did when I had my old bike. 40% more range, so you can just ride further, longer, keep it in turbo more if you want. And I think that's a really, really great upgrade that Specialized have done to bring that price point lower to get that higher capacity battery. If you look at the new Kenevo, the comp version is £5,000 and the Expert is £7,000. So the £5,000 bike, you get the 500 watt-hour battery and you get the Marzocchi fork and coil. And on the Expert, you get the 700 watt battery and the triple clamp fork, and it just looks pretty badass with that configuration. The biggest differences between the bikes, let's go through them. The Levo is based around 150mm travel on the front, 150mm on the rear. It's got a 66-degree head angle. It's got flip chips, you can change it slightly, but it's really based around a trail bike, and it's kind of like I don't want to say this phrase in the wrong way, a jack of all trades, but I mean that in the best possible way because it can attack so much. Cross country, trail riding, enduro, you can even ride downhill. I've done Bike Park Wales, Ben Nevis, loads of stuff on that bike, and it is really, really capable for all of that. It's just such a good all-round e-mountain bike. But in terms of the way that the Kenevo, the new Kenevo rides versus the Levo, the new Kenevo might look the same, but it feels like so different. But what I love about the new Kenevo is it shares the same motor. So that's the Bros Magnesium S motor as the Levo, shares the same battery, the 500 watt or the 700 watt, depending on which model you go for. And all the electronics are the same minimalist design on it. And actually it looks like a big badass Levo when you look at it. So I really was familiar with the whole way that the bike feels to pedal, the efficiency of the motor, but they do feel remarkably different to ride. So the Kenevo is based around a 180mm travel platform. It's got a coil shock on the back. The progression curve of the suspension is slightly different. The reach is so different. It's got a slacker head angle, and it feels like a different bike to ride in many respects. It's got 27-inch wheels on it versus the 29-inch wheels. So which one do you buy? Oh man, it's difficult, isn't it? If we were comparing the last year's Kenevo, I'd say definitely the Levo, but now the new one's been bought out. It's really tough. It's a really tough decision. The new Kenevo is so capable for pretty much anything that you throw it at. It can do cross-country stuff, it can do trail stuff, it can do enduro, it can do downhill, it's got 180mm travel, it's got a slack head angle, and it's so confidence inspiring to ride for me, especially with the new reach. It goes up to 520mm. So the biggest differences between the two I found is the reach on the bike, and the way that if you're a taller rider, you might feel more comfortable on the new Kenevo. If you're a average size rider, you still might feel more comfortable on the Kenevo because it's got 180mm of travel. Its slacker head angle gave me more confidence to hit things that I've never hit on the Levo. But there are some downsides to it as well, and some better things that the Levo can do. So let's go through those in a bit more detail. The Levo, because it's got 150mm travel and it's got a head angle around 66 degrees, it makes it quite agile and quite nimble to ride on regular trails. And by regular trails, I mean, you know, trail centers, natural stuff, just most trail riding, enduro style riding that we have in the UK, Europe, USA, Australia, wherever you are in the world. It will be able to tackle most of that stuff and more, to be honest with you. The shock on it is an air shock. The Kenevo's got a coil shock. The air shock feels more progressive to ride. It feels more poppy and it feels more lively. So what I mean by that is if you're on a trail and you're about to hit a jump and you're going to compress the suspension a little bit, it's really active in the way that it deals with that. So if you're about to, I don't know, just hit a little drop or a very little jump, you can just gently kind of pop the bike. It'll compress through the suspension, it will rebound fairly quickly, and you'll be able to get airborne, and it feels nice and active. The Kenevo, on the other hand, is different in the way that it handles that. Because it's got more travel, it's got a coil spring, it feels like you have to put quite a bit more effort in to achieve the same result as you would on the Levo. So I feel that I have to compress the bike down more, push more on the pedals, get it to squat more, and because it's a coil, it's a bit more linear in the way that it goes through its travel, and you just require more effort in riding the Kenevo versus you do on riding the Levo. It's no surprise, it's longer, it's slacker, it's got more travel, but it's also heavier. So the Expert Kenevo weighs 25 kilograms with pedals. Expert Levo weighs around 21.5 kilograms. So, you know, it's a fair amount of difference in weight, and all of that weight contributes to the way that it feels on the trail. Things start to get different when it gets a little bit steeper and a bit more technical. The Kenevo will give you so much confidence because it's got a long reach, because it's got a slacker head angle, and because it's got longer travel. You can afford to make, honestly, more mistakes on the Kenevo. I definitely have felt way more comfortable riding the Kenevo on unknown technical trails than I would on the Levo. And because I'm a taller rider, it feels more comfortable to me than the Levo does. And this is only really a recent revelation that I've felt. I've never thought I need a longer bike, and I felt the Levo was good for my size. But it's not until I got on the new Kenevo, which has 520mm reach, that I felt, wow, this is right. This is what I need. I need a longer bike. And everyone's different. Some people prefer shorter, snappier, more playful, agile bikes, and some people prefer a longer bike that's super stable, gives you lots of confidence, doesn't move around quite as much, just is down to personal preference. But what I will say is it just requires far more rider input on the Kenevo. It requires more energy, it requires you to move it around a little bit more. I would say you need to be more aggressive riding the Kenevo compared to the Levo. And it actually tires you out quite a bit more as well because you are being more aggressive on it. It requires more body input, it's heavier, you're moving it around quite a bit more. And after a ride, I've been like, oh, I'm actually pretty tired. It's not quite as good for pedaling. I find because the seat angle is a little bit steeper on the Kenevo, you are sat more over the motor. I think that the pedaling efficiency through the legs is not quite as good on the Kenevo as the Levo. In terms of climbing, they're both really good climbers. They've got a 455mm chainstay, so that helps with the stability. I did find the Kenevo a better climber, but it did require more energy. Like I've already said, if I was climbing over a root or rock and really needed to kind of hoik the front forward, it just was a little bit more like muscle power you'd need to kind of move it about. So if you're looking at each one of these bikes, the Kenevo is gonna do so much. It's capable of riding cross country to downhill. With the 700 watt-hour battery in the Expert, it does put it up to 7,000 pounds though. That's the only thing, versus the 5,500 pounds of the Levo. The Kenevo gives me more confidence to ride with its 180mm travel, with its longer reach. The downsides are, requires more energy, requires more user input. You really have to kind of muscle the bike around and be quite aggressive in how you ride it. It's heavier, so just simple things like picking it up. If you're putting it on a car rack, if you're picking it up and moving it around, it's just a little bit more cumbersome. But once you're riding it and you're fully committed and you're engaged in that ride, you can pretty much tackle anything, and it gave me so much confidence, and I've hit bigger stuff on that than I've ever hit on my Levo. The Levo, sweet, poppy, agile trail bike, great geometry, really active, really playful, much lighter than the Kenevo. You get the 700 watt-hour battery on the Comp, which is the £5,500 model, and that bike has, I didn't think I needed any more bike than that. It's been a fantastic bike for the past 12 months, and I've really enjoyed riding it from downhill stuff to cross-country stuff. And it is so capable. Don't let the Kenevo 180mm put you off, because that 150mm, you can take the front up to 160 as well. It is still a really great, playful, really capable bike. For me though, a Kenevo, I really enjoy how much I can tackle on it. I feel more comfortable on it. If you're a taller rider or more aggressive rider, or you want to take on bigger stuff, the Kenevo might be the bike for you. It is a absolutely banging e-bike. It's, like I said in my review, it's not the cheapest, it's not the best value for money, but it's just such a capable e-bike. Price-wise, the Comp version with the Marzocchi fork and the 500 watt-hour battery. I wish it came with a 700 watt-hour battery, because that's quite a big deal for my riding. I honestly probably wouldn't buy a bike with a 500 watt-hour battery anymore, or I'd need a spare, because when we ride as groups, we're doing 30, 40 miles, and I felt I really need the 700 watt-hour battery to do that. So that might sway your decision as well. All right, I hope this was a tiny little bit helpful. I know there's a lot of waffle and a lot of chat, but if there's anything that I can do to help in the comments, let me know. If you see me out on the trails, come and have a go on it, see what you think. And I hope this video has gone a little way in helping you in your purchase decision, but if I can help any more, let me know. All right, I will catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye.